All right, we're live. And I am yellow, more yellow than I've ever been.
Jaundice.
I don't understand.
What's the matter, McFly? You yellow?
So Peter, how much have you been keeping up with the adventures?
Enough to know that y'all are still alive.
Only physically. We're dead inside.
Yeah.
All right. So who wants to give a recap?
Well, didn't he hop off of the train? It's a pretty long recap.
Well, all right. So basically, since Kolmar left the main group, the rest of the adventurers headed into the Tower of the 12 because Peter, you left just before the Tower of the 12. So that's where they met.
Skipping over a whole ghost ship of horrors.
Oh yes, the ghost ship of horrors. So there was an incident on the airship with a haunted doll that ended up. Well, Ivor, you want to describe how it's impacted your little gnome body?
I mean, it was the beginning of the body horror theme. Unless I just missed it before then. It was like when we were slowly mutating into other things and Ivar was sprouting extra eyes all over the place. And then it turned out at the end of the Halloween episode, which was really good, that some of the mutations stuck around. And that also was part of the body horror theme as we've slowly become more and more twisted and deformed over time.
So Ivar has a little gaping hole in one of his shoulders where one of the eyes was stabbed out of it. And then Elmorn has a scar on his throat that sometimes results in him having a squeaky voice. And then Marthau, what was it that happened to Marthau?
He had his face got burned, so he had like a kind of a faint burn imprint of a hand.
That's right.
And then in the presence of undead, he feels like a tingling, burning sensation because that's what he felt that night on the airship. The first of many burning sensations.
And then Kolmar wasn't even around for the whole drone thing.
Nope. That was after the Tower of the 12.
All right. So Tower of the 12 happens. The group meets up with Tacitus, a war wizard that has a previous history with Elmorn. There at the Tower of the 12, the professor that you guys met, who was a half-orc whose name escapes me.
Fingersnap.
Yes, Professor Fingersnap. Actually opened a portal to Zoriat and summoned some kind of creature that nearly killed everybody. But they were able to deal with it, and then they got knowledge about this plane of Zoriat, which is a plane of madness, where the Delkir reside, and the angel-faced creature you guys have found out is likely one of these Delkir. And there was thousands of years ago, there was a previous attempt where these creatures were invading the plane of Zoriat that may have been the cause of the downfall of the Dakani Empire, which is the empire of goblins, hobgoblins, and bugbears that ruled Corvair before the Age of Man. And then you found information regarding how to find Mordain Fleshweaver, who resides in Drome. And so from the Tower of the 12, you guys made your way towards Drome. Actually, through Marthau's contacts, you guys were able to get teleported. But unfortunately, you teleported right into the assassination of one of the warlords of Greywall, which is basically the capital city of Drome.
Oh, we didn't know that.
Yeah.
If we had known that Mordain's Keep is actually on the map of Eberron, we would have just teleported there. But
God damn that map! Gave away too much. So then the gang is running through the streets of Greywall, trying to escape these the minions of the warlord. And then they met a little a 3-creen little insect dude, and who led them through the tunnels of underground Greywall, which is the remains of the Dakani Empire. Down there, you guys encountered a creature that continued the theme of body horror, where Ivar had his arms turned into tentacles. I believe Tacitus's hands were reversed.
Not down there. I didn't get anything down there. I wasn't hit.
Oh, then it was Marthau, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, Marthau had his hands reversed.
Yeah.
And then Elmorn had his legs reverse jointed, so he had to walk on all fours. Petrie, did you have anything happen to you?
I wasn't in the Drome saga.
Yeah.
Okay.
He was well spaced.
That's right.
And I had to perform emergency field surgery at some point too down there.
Yes, you did. Which was awesome.
The whole session in one little room.
Yeah. And then, so this thing that you guys fought that was warping your flesh was actually a weapon used and developed by the Dakani Empire to try and use the magic of the Delkir against them. That has survived all this time. So that's part of the reason why the body horror was there with that one part. Then eventually the group managed to meet Zorchiklik, the Mind Flayer sort of head of Greywall. And then he basically charged the group with destroying this thing that was attacking Greywall, which turned out to be a giant mutated Fenris. And the group, except for Ivar, got eaten by the creature, which dumped them into an extra-dimensional stomach of sorts. And so Ivar is firing at this thing from way far away and trying to catch up to it with his little legs, while everybody else is trying to survive in the stomach. Eventually, Fenris is destroyed, and Ivar and the group are able to... Ivar jumps into the stomach, and then the group is able to use the rope to get out. And so
Elmon put his horse through one of the holes.
Yes,
I remember him getting very proud about that.
Yes, Blaze ended up in there as well and managed to come out. And so in return for all of that, you guys, Zorchiklik basically teleported everybody just right outside of Mordain Fleshweaver's residence.
Or so he says.
At which point, Elmorn built like the fanciest shelter in this, like, because it's like a desert area that all of a sudden turns into a lush jungle, and so you guys were on the edge of that. And he just built the awesomest shelter, and then you guys realized, hey, wait a minute, Zorchiklik gave us this thing that lets us teleport back to the Handsome Mansion if we need to. Or no, that wasn't Zorchiklik. Was that something else happened? Or
I thought it was.
Yeah, it was like an amulet or something.
okay,
Yeah,
so
Malco ended up picking it up from somewhere. Yeah.
So you're able to establish a link back to the Handsome Mansion, and you can. It's a one-time teleport back, unless of course you disrupt the portal. So everybody from there decided it would be best to go back to the Handsome Mansion, regroup, rest, and then go back. But during that time, Elmorn found out about the potential link between his daughter and this Lady of the Mists.
Yeah, and just to be clear, I like to think that we stood around watching Elmorn build this awesome shelter, and then when he was done, we all went, now, back to the Handsome Mansion.
Yeah, that's pretty much how it was. He's like, all right, guys.
Well, I mean, whenever we do finally get back to the Handsome Manor and then teleport back to that spot, because he did such a good job, obviously it's still going to be there.
Even though that was like months ago now.
Yeah.
So then you guys decide where Elmorn decides he has to go and find his daughter and see if this is true. The group agrees to accompany him. They travel the long way to the other side of the Mournland, so that they can continue to preserve that portal link. Enter the Mournland. Shit gets cray-cray. And then lots of battles, lots of surviving, and then they managed to get. How did you guys get caught again by the Warforged? Oh, you guys were.
We walked to it. We just
He thought it was a good idea to volunteer himself.
Yes, in the forest. So you guys came across the Warforged hunting party, and ended up getting just trounced, with the exception of Ivar and Marthau. And then you guys managed to escape there with the help of the Lady of the Mist.
There is a theme of everybody gets captured except Ivar.
Yeah. Mallet-based armor is the best armor.
Yeah.
Impervious to everything.
Oh, be prepared to answer questions about a zombie hand artifact that was found in the Handsome Mansion amongst your things.
Yeah. Petrie kept messing with your shit.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not surprised.
Yeah.
I have one of them on me.
There's like a mask or something we nicked.
Yeah, that's right. There's a mask.
So other than that, really nothing else happened, right?
Yeah.
Well, no, because we haven't gotten into this all the stuff that happened in the Mournlands. There was like a whole rain was falling, but as it hit you, it encased you in glass.
Yeah. I think I caught a lot of expert planning going on too. No, that was a different stream I was watching.
Yeah.
Come on. Nobody knows how to expert plan. There was no stream that you were watching.
Petrie's always just like, Leroy Jenkins.
I'm pretty sure he tried to rescue a squirrel, and then
Yeah, that's what started it.
Nearly died.
But then at the same time, so there's this giant egg in the compound of the Warforged, and as all shit is breaking loose in that place, Petrie, of all people, manages to banish the egg, and it's no longer there.
Yeah,
I mean,
basically, it's a Godzilla-sized egg that's about to hatch, releasing Godzilla to do the Warforged bidding on the world. And our plan is we're just leave them that. They can have it. We don't care. We just want to. Ivar had to break, and Marthel broke into the prison to break the other guys out. Two of them had already gotten out on their own, so we had to find them.
We were running
And
around
then-
naked.
And
Yeah.
everybody's who was captured was naked. And Petrie's like, no, let me just go take care of that egg. And we're like, yeah, whatever, Petrie, let's go. And then he runs away from us, and he just goes over and banishes this mountainous egg into some other dimension.
I saw that on the video. I thought it was some kind of clever editing that Mike.
I liked Kurt's comments where Ivar's not sure he can live in a world where Petrie does something useful.
Yes. Did you read what I sent you, Mike?
Let me just double check on that. Yeah, I read that stuff.
Okay.
So now the immediate aftermath of the prison break. Once you all are able to get clear of the prison walls, outside of the influence of whatever energy it is that was preventing the Lady of the Mist from directly intervening in your rescue, she whisks everybody away to some other location, and you guys are all of you are just encompassed in this mist, blind to the world except for this wall of white. You can't even see each other. You don't even know if you are still together. And then suddenly the mist dissipates, leaving all of you together, with the exception of Elmorn. Elmorn is not there. And so you see before you this woman who is on the younger side, somewhere between 14 and 19. You can't really place exactly, but half of her face is kind of skeletal, with her eye being missing and just revealing a gaping hole in which you can see mist kind of flowing in and out. And there's a strange kind of ghostly cord around her waist that points in a specific direction, that whenever she moves, the cord maintains that direction, similar to the comet tail always facing away from the sun. And where you guys see yourself now is you're right next to this wall of mist. And this lady, she's kind of, the top of her body is solid, but as you go down towards her waist, she becomes more ephemeral, and she's kind of floating in the skirt of mist.
Man, if I had a nickel for every time that happened to me.
So you guys appear. She doesn't immediately say anything.
Are there
And
other
you guys
survivors?
you guys also have the equipment that you managed to scrounge from the armory. Most of it probably in the bag of holding that you guys managed to obtain.
Are there other survivors there?
There are only a couple.
This is Secret Agent Ivar reporting in. Ivar went a little insane last time. We managed to escape from the prison complex. I've got all my people out. Unfortunately, I only see a few other survivors. That means possibly hundreds dead or lost in the moorlands and probably as good as dead. But we did what we could. Surprisingly, Petrie managed, I think, to save much of the continent. The monumental 150, 200-foot tall egg was about to hatch, and Petrie somehow banished it. I'm sure he banished it to like some plane of fire or elemental chaos that definitely destroyed it. Because why would he send it somewhere where it wasn't immediately destroyed? Is that right, Petrie?
Yeah.
See,
I did that.
also, I think my cover might be blown. Someone may have noticed that I am a secret agent.
Who the hell are you talking to?
No one? Yes, I think
So-
my cover is blown.
So as Ivar is going through that, the lady begins kind of gliding towards each person, and she's touching each person, and this sort of a mist that is white and bright. It's much different color than the mist that surrounds the Mournland. Kind of encircles each person that she goes by, and as that happens, their wounds begin to mend, and the influence and corruption of the Mournland is kind of physically pulled from that person and absorbed by this mist, which then transfers into the lady.
The lady got space crabs.
Oh yeah, Petrie got endo crabs.
Martha turns to her and he goes, Martha, the handsome at your service.
So yeah, as she eventually comes to you, Martha, and you're once the mist kind of wraps around you, you feel your teeth painfully, but not overly painfully, begin to come back out and sprout from within your gums.
Ah, it's better. And then Martha goes to crack his neck, and you hear glass shatter. And he cracks the other way, and the glass shatters again. Oh boy, that's not right.
Yeah. So yeah, each of you begin to feel the influence of the Mournland reduce, and then with each of the prisoners, this mist not only wraps around them and pulls the corruption out, but also begins encompassing these people completely, and then the mist kind of fades and those people are no longer there, leaving just you guys minus Elmore and Kolmar.
Did the lady's teeth happen to go away whenever Martha's teeth came back?
She doesn't smile very much, so you don't know.
She seemed to be scratching at something discriminate in the groinal region.
She's maintaining her prim and proper appearance.
Can you speak?
I can.
Were you able to save anyone other than the people we just saw? There were a lot of people we let out of those cages. I don't know how many of them made it out.
Unfortunately, many of them died, and those that did not were unable to get out of the influence of the energy. Some of them were able to follow you as the ones that were before you, and I have helped guide them from this place. That is why they are no longer here. Elmorn is also with them. He's waiting for you on the other side of the mist. I did not want my father to see me in this way.
I'm sure he would wish to see you in whatever state you were in.
I do not want my father's last memory of me to be like this in this place.
Well,
And
I
then
think-
she pulls a green gemstone from a pocket, and holds it out to one of you and says, "Please, when you see him, give him this. This will serve as a kind of goodbye for him."
Well, I think his plan was to take you with him back into the rest of the world. I don't know that he's going to give up just because you want him to.
Believe me, I wish that I could be free of the burden of this place. It is not an existence that I wish to maintain. Unfortunately, I am stuck here. I am unable to leave the mists, held firmly anchored to this place spiritually as well as physically.
What are the mists?
I am not sure exactly. All I know is that they are almost a creature all their own. Some of the mist is willing to work with me and grant me some of its power. But there is a very malevolent presence that suffuses this place. It is not meant to be. And it is a scar upon this land that I am hoping does not grow beyond the current borders of the mist.
Do you know what presence controls the malevolent portion of the mist?
It's hard to say. I haven't seen any specific being, and I don't know that it is something that can even be described as such. You notice that despite her age, she is clearly speaking in a way that is much older than her age would imply, given that this is Grace, Elmorn's young daughter. Or at least she was quite young when she died here.
And is there no way to free you ever?
I'm not sure if there is. And even if there was, I would not want to live out my life like this. My body, my spirit, they have changed. And I do not know that they can ever be completely healed, even if I could leave this place. The scar upon this land is also a scar upon my soul.
I may know someone who will be able to heal you, but I'm not sure to what ends.
So Grace, the Lady of the Mist, smiles sweetly and says, "It is kind of you to offer aid, but I do not think it would help. Besides, although my existence here is cursed, I find comfort in knowing that I can at least help those that have found their way here and need my guidance to escape this place."
Your tether there, do you know where it points?
Why, Tacitus, it has been quite some time. It points to home. It is the anchor where I am bound from.
Is that where your body lays or lies?
The part of it that remains, yes. At that point, you guys see a disturbance in the mist, in the wall, not too far away from where you are, and the lady turns and kind of cocks her head strangely, and suddenly you see a greasy dwarf wielding a war hammer and a blade of blood just kind of pop through and like very confused and ready to fight.
I've never seen this man before, so I'll pull out my quarterstaff. Who are you? How'd you get here?
Do Petrie and I recognize him?
It's the only greasy dwarf you know.
Kolmar!
Why didn't you bring the Elatrix, damn it?
Markov goes and he just tries to hug. He like hugs Kolmar.
He slips out.
I thought all dwarves were greasy dwarves.
Racist.
So
Kolmar, how did you find us? How did you get here?
are they gone? Or is anybody following me?
Possibly.
I guess
I reach up, touch my face. Is the mask gone?
What mask?
No.
Is it gone though? Is it on my face?
I hope that's.
I don't see a mask. I don't see a mask. I just see your lovable, greasy face.
Okay, good. Then it's gone. Does one of you have it?
I'll kind of turn away. What does this mask look like?
Is it the mask we found in the armory?
It was a mask that was sent away to the Handsome Mansion at one point, but I was told it was here.
I happen to have a mask.
Yeah, he stole it.
No, I've been keeping it from that one, pointing to Petrie.
No.
And I thought it could be used as a defensive mechanism at some point, but the occasion never arose.
But you have it?
I do, yeah.
Okay, good.
I don't believe we've made the introductions. This is our good friend and mechanic, Kolmar. And this is Tacitus. And this is Ivar.
Tacitus. He looks familiar. I think I waved to him and told him don't shoot.
I don't recall.
And then I vanished.
When was this?
After the carcass crab.
Oh, fucking... It's like, wait a second. God, seen this son of a bitch with all the cadavers.
Yeah, I have to say that I really enjoyed that, but there are other things to worry about now. And then I tried to follow you guys and ended up under the bed.
Ah, that makes sense. We weren't sure what that was, so we just ran away. And then we threw you out. Wait, we threw you out to get encapsulated in the glass rain. How did you manage to survive?
Don't worry, I was already gone.
He was possessing some body.
So are you gonna like disappear and then this is just gonna be a corpse?
No.
How did you get into the
teach
Mormons? Where did you? I forget what city. Did we leave him in Atter? Is that the city we left him in?
Yeah, we
Like
probably
Sea
don't
of the
want to
Dead.
go. We probably don't want to go back there. Just saying.
Ivar takes out like a piece of paper and crosses something off a list.
The last thing I remember, there was scores of bloodless bodies, and some looked like the vision of an egg in the sky, and that's all I remember.
How long ago was this? Was it like a giant 200-foot tall egg in the sky, or like a little Elmore companion size egg? In
No,
the sky?
it was huge.
I must have put it there.
Wait a minute. Petrie, how could you put it in there? I don't know what you did, but doesn't that send it somewhere out of this world?
I don't know. We'll go find out. And I'll do it again, and I'll send it back.
I've had my suspicions that this is not on the regular plane of existence, but more of a parallel one, but I've not seen the full evidence yet.
So I shake my cloak out, and flecks of dried blood go everywhere.
Been busy, have you?
Yes, it was a harrowing scene there at the end, but I made it out.
Is the lady in the mist still there?
Yeah, she is. She's just kind of patiently watching. Not really sure what to make of the greasy dwarf that's burst forth from the cloud of mist.
Do you have any idea what happened to the giant egg after it vanished?
No, I am not sure. All I know is that I cannot feel its presence here.
And do you have any details on the military strength of the Warforged army here in the Mournlands? Speak directly in the stone if you like.
What are you worried about Warforged for? They can't even get past Greece.
Oh yeah. So
That
Tony and Kurt, are in the earlier days of the game, there was a Warforged that Kolmar used the grease spell on, and it completely incapacitated him from the fight until like the very last round when he got up and he punched a horse so hard that it broke its face.
No, see, the Warforged was on our side.
Yeah.
And I put the grease for the bad guys. And the Warforged was trying to get to the bad guys, and he kept falling and falling and falling.
Yeah.
Well, you
But
remember the ones on the train, on the lightning rail? These are more like those Warforged, like airships and a little more competent. With a lot of giant ones.
Okay.
And a giant
so-
egg with a monster in it.
Somebody tell them what they did to Elmorn when you guys first found him.
Bowled him over.
Yeah, they uppercutted him through a tree,
Yeah,
and he just plummeted down from the sky.
he took some major whiplash damage from that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. On a scale of 1 to 110, he took about 95 points of damage in one hit.
So do you know? Martha turns to the lady that missed. Do you know what was in the egg?
No, I'm not sure. All I know is that the Warforged seem to take an interest in it. And as for their strength, it is hard to say, little one.
Do they have other bases here in the Mournlands?
There are a few, none so large as that one. But
Do you know
much
what
of
that
their-
city was called before it was destroyed? I really didn't have time to look at that.
I believe that was the outskirts of Metrol that you were at. So for those of you familiar with Sire, that is not only the capital of Sire, but was also the base of operations for House Cannith before the Day of Mourning.
Okay.
What was House Cannith's specialty again?
They possess the Dragon Mark of Making.
They could make all kinds of things, including the Warforged.
Yeah, so they're the best known, preeminent artificers, mage rights, and tinkerers.
Do you know where the egg came from?
No, there are many things that grew and appeared here on that terrible day. Things not of this world. I think that Tacitus was correct in saying that this may be not fully on the same plane of existence as the world. There's something else here. I can't really describe it, but it definitely does not feel to be completely of Corvair.
Do you know of any? Has this been a recent feeling? We were chasing a creature, an angel-faced creature, and Marthal becomes a little more agitated, and he cracks his neck.
A Delkir.
Yes.
She cocks her head and says, "I've never heard of such a thing. I don't think I've ever seen something with the face of an angel."
Have you heard of what was his name? Mage Hand the Force Cager. What was his name?
The Flesh Weaver?
Mordain the Misunderstood Flesh Weaver.
Yeah, Mordain the Flesh Weaver. That's it.
No, I've not heard this name either. He does not sound very pleasant.
He's into knitting.
Is Fleshweaver a given name, or is it a name that he's given himself?
I assume someone gave it to him, unless his middle name is the.
No, I've not heard of this individual.
Because he's on the map.
What map?
The map of the world.
We can go to him?
Do you know him?
Yeah, we do.
What are we waiting for?
I think we got to get back to the mansion first.
Yeah, let's go see Mordain.
See, it'd take us a long time to go back to the mansion. Can't we just teleport to where we were?
We could teleport to the mansion.
Right, but then that resets the stone so that we can't get back to where Mordain's fortress is. So our only way back is to travel across Drome again. In which case I quit.
Well, we can't have that. So,
Lady of the Mist, I don't know if we're going to have reason to come back here again, but I wouldn't put it past us. So if we do, is there some way we can contact you without wandering aimlessly for days?
Or nearly dying before you find us.
Should you cross the borders of the mist, the gem that I have given you to give my father should be able to establish a way of calling me.
Okay. He may come back here on his own as soon as we give him this gem. So do you have a second gem for the rest of us?
Who's your father?
Elmorn.
I don't see the resemblance.
Yes, I have changed quite a bit. Anyways, unfortunately, there is nothing that I can give you, but I am fairly usually aware of when people come into this place. I try to go to as many as I can to offer aid. So should you come back to the Mornland, you won't necessarily be able to call me directly, but at some point you should be able to encounter me, as I will come to you.
Does this gem work through mallet space?
This is a strange term to me. Explain, mallet space.
Well, you know how.
Go on.
Now, some people just pull their enormous weapons right out of their assholes. Well,
that sounds painful. I imagine you would need quite a bit of practice before you get up to that.
Well, I mean, also, not you. You don't have any legs.
I should have mentioned this earlier, but you know your friend, what was his name? Bellathorn?
Baragon.
That sounds familiar. Actually, I thought it was Bellathorn. But he's probably trapped in glass in that city where glass rains down, so you may want to go, like, save him now.
He's probably dead by now.
Yes, do you know Baragon?
Yeah, he was a bad guy.
I do know Baragon, and he was not a bad guy. It is quite unfortunate what has happened to him. I was not able to save him.
It's sad. He had such an adventurous life.
Yes.
I could go animate his corpse and bring him back if you want.
Oh, he's trapped under glass.
Yeah, can you melt the glass?
Plus, we don't know what direction that is from here, and the direction out is like right that way.
Where are you? Where is your spirit rooted? You say the rope is pointing you to where your spirit your place is, but where is that? Is that near where we were? Is that far?
No. It is far. It is towards the center of Sire. My cat is spazzing out.
That's true. Before we leave, we should summon that bird again. Just for the cat's benefit.
A cat's like.
Yeah, if you want me to provide the name of the city, I could probably pick one on a map. Where's the map?
So how thick is this cord that she's stuck to?
You know, it's fairly faint. It probably only goes about a foot away from her waist, but and then it fades more and more until it's not really visible.
So what would happen if we cut the cord?
Are you asking that of her?
Yeah.
Or are you just okay? So she kind of looks at you and says, "To be truthful, I'm not really sure. I don't know that the cord can be cut."
No, anything is possible through the blood.
I don't think she has any blood.
I'm not worried about hers.
Are we thinking about cutting this cord? Do you want the cord to be cut?
I'm seriously surprised that Petrie hasn't cut it already.
You want me to cut it?
No.
No one's
No,
carrying
As far as I
Maybe-
can tell, nothing can physically interact with the cord that holds me. I cannot even truly interact with it. All I experience is that of a force that grows stronger the farther I walk from it, until it finally extends as far as it can, just at the edge of the mist.
So what's this force feel like?
A pulling back to the source where my home is.
What happens when you go back to the source?
That is where I feel it the least.
So, I, the player, am familiar with something that has a similar thing. Would Tacitus have any sort of knowledge?
If you're talking about like the silver cord of the astral plane, it's not the same. But Tacitus would likely have knowledge of that, and that would be a reasonable guess.
Right.
I could try to send you far away from here, and we'll see what happens.
Well, how about we just leave the lady be, and then we depart? Yeah.
I do not know that I could exist any longer if I were to go beyond the mists. I am not quite an embodied individual as you are now. I am not truly of flesh. I am only this spirit imbued with the mist manifest.
I mean, I would suggest that we try to cut the cord, but there is a possibility that will end your existence, and then we get into a whole PvP situation with Elmore next time. Oh yeah, Elmore, we killed your daughter. Let's go.
We were just trying to do her a favor.
My father is quite protective of me. I imagine he feels a great deal of guilt that he was not around to save me from the day of mourning.
Well,
and that he's not around right now.
if she's just a spirit, then we just have to capture her spirit. And I remember a big pile of corpses around here. Just stick her in one of those corpses. Should be good.
Ah, yes. Kolmar, it's been so long since you've been with us. I almost forgot of your unique talents.
But you know playing with the dead's naughty, don't you, Kolmar? Can't be doing that.
Either way, I don't think it would quite work out. Magic here seems to be affected in odd ways. I think our best bet is to leave for now.
Was there like some sort of giant creature that chased you from that building?
Yes, there was.
Yes.
Yeah, it nearly crushed us to death.
Yeah, my bad. Sorry about that. Anyway, continue.
It really was him. It was so awesome.
Wait, that was you.
Well, a few things went awry. It was not as planned.
Was it intentional?
No.
Well, don't apologize to us. Apologize to Bellathorn. Because he's
Baragon.
dead. He's dead now.
Baragon. Ivar.
Oh yeah, Peter, you might not know, but Baragon is the character that Dustin played in my last Eberron game.
Yeah, the group disbanded after like a month in the Mournlands. They said,
I wonder why.
Yeah.
we're never getting out. We're just done.
So since you're here, Lady of the Mist, and you were there on the day that Sire became all of this, what happened?
My memory of that is fuzzy. There was a lot that happened, and of course, I also died. So
There are worse things.
I'm not quite sure, but when I woke up, the land had changed greatly, and I felt this strange sense of weight and loss and feelings that are hard to describe. It was torturous at first. This agony. In time, I learned to control it to some degree, or at least separate myself from it. Maybe that is the better way of describing it. It is a sense of feeling like the land itself is screaming in pain.
You still feel like the land is screaming?
Yes.
And have you ever come across the Lord of Blades before?
I have heard whispers of this person. Some that enter the Mournlands are seeking this individual. Many of these Warforged also come seeking him out. I have never seen him myself.
What is the nature of the people who seek this being out?
Those who are not Warforged often are coming to verify the existence of this Lord of Blades. Others are assassins. The Warforged that come, they don't generally speak to me, so it is hard to say. But I hear them speak. When they are here and when they are in groups, typically Warforged do not socialize in the same ways as others. And so they don't talk much. But when they do talk, they seem to revere him and hope that they can find him.
I don't know about anybody else, but I'm just like picturing a giant warforged with just a ton of blades and it just like spins and a ball of spinning death.
A walking
Sounds
Cuisinart.
We did see him for like a bit of for a little bit.
I don't know if we actually saw him.
Are you sure?
We heard he was on his way, but
Well, I thought we saw like a shadow of something that could have been him.
all we saw were shadows.
And why do we care about this person?
Because he's clearly a risk to the rest of the world. These Warforged want to wipe out all living things other than other Warforged. At least all living sentient things.
Do you know when the egg showed up?
No,
Has
not
it
exactly.
always been here?
I couldn't say for certain. I never saw an egg quite like that, although there are creatures in the Mournland, large creatures of great power that roam this land. But with the egg, I could never really get close to it as once I found it, discovered it, there was that energy that blocked me from getting close.
And since that wasn't the egg, I assume it was the creation forge itself. Unless there's some other source of power, maybe underground.
It's possible. I have heard people that come into the Mournland seeking this thing that they call creation forges, and also the vaults that belong to House Cannet, hoping to find treasures and great wealth.
I think a lot of people come into the Mournlands looking to find treasure that got lost.
Yes, people are often driven by greed.
There's a whole town full of them on the outskirts.
Do you have knowledge or senses of the skies around above the mists?
So long as it is within the mists or below them, then yes.
Did you at some point within the past few months sense an airship that might have flown through?
There are airships that come and go. Often it is unwise, as the airships do not function quite the same once they enter the Mournland, and they often crash. It is rare for an airship to enter the Mournland and then leave, but it has happened at least once, possibly, maybe twice.
Were you ever aware of like a metal airship to the north? Because we know the Warforged were flying one, but we don't know where it came from.
No, I don't think so. If the Warforged were flying an airship and they were the same from that camp, it is more likely that they have some kind of outpost beyond the mists.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
As those ships do not function very well in the morning.
Because we know that a lot of the people who were in that prison camp were taken aboard a metal airship that attacked a lightning rail. So they had to make it all the way down here, which would have been easier if they had flown. Maybe we can find some of those survivors. I'm sure they're not like totally shocked by the experience and are willing to tell us everything.
If we're lucky.
Well, at least we saved half the people on that lightning rail plus like 6.
Our record is a little better than before. Well, lady, would you say that that living in the mists for so long has granted you any special knowledge that you haven't necessarily told us about? Like, what's the most interesting thing that you have learned since you have become stuck in your situation?
Well, mostly the places to avoid. I would recommend, if you ever come upon the Glowing Chasm or the Glass Plateau, you are likely going to find death or worse.
Oh, really?
What makes these places so dangerous?
The creatures that inhabit those places and the way that the land has been scarred and corrupted. It is more concentrated there. Fester upon Corvair, upon Sire. In those places, it is truly like entering an alien realm.
What did you say those places were? The glowing chasm and something plateau?
The Glass Plateau.
She has had a lot of time to learn new things.
Indeed.
She can't be saving people 24/7. She must have like picked up a book. Well, I fear we are hanging around asking more and more questions because we all fear running back into Elmorn and explaining to him that his daughter's remaining behind. But we really should go find Elmorn. Or at least get out of here.
Yeah.
Please, when you see my father, send him my love. And remember to give him the gem. It is important.
We shan't forget. Meeting you was a pleasure. We are forever grateful for pulling us out of this hellhole.
Although, to be clear, the only reason we were in this hellhole was we were coming to find her. So,
Yeah.
Let's not blame her.
I'm not blaming her. I'm just saying, if you think about it, we didn't really accomplish all that much in here.
Yeah, I got crabs, lady.
Wait, are your crabs gone? Petrie, are
Yeah,
your
they're
crabs gone?
I think so, but I'm still scratching.
When did you get a familiar, Petrie?
When I came in here.
Oh yeah, Kolmar, you notice that there is a displacer beast cub and some kind of weird glowing slime-like thing with Tacitus, and there's an eye scarf on Marthau.
Yeah.
Like a scarf that literally ends in eyes and kind of moves independently. And then Ivar has a little, a little, what is it? Automaton type thing.
One
Yeah.
sec.
I mean, you would have. I got the pocket watch only like the first session I showed up. Somebody was like, "Oh, nobody wants the pocket watch," and I was like, "No, Miss Pocket Watch."
Does Martha still smell like a skunk?
I forgot about that too. Is he still a squirrel?
No, Marthau's no longer offensive with regards to order, and he has his human form regained. It returned just as the lady kind of pulled everybody out from the prison or around the prison.
Because when I arrived here, there was a strong skunk smell, so I was wondering.
That might have been residue.
Yeah, there was
Final
this.
whiffs.
It came in through the open window.
There was a squirrel which thought it was you, Martha. It kept talking.
That's quite odd. I don't remember my time as a squirrel.
You remember the green sunsets you were going on about?
That's crazy talk.
It definitely was crazy talk.
Says the man talking to a rock.
I don't know what you're talking about. He shoves the rock back into his pouch.
I just looked at the lady. I'm like, we're a little worse for the wear. Quickest way out of here, please.
Yes.
When you are ready, I will send you through the mists, and you will safely return on the other side.
So before we depart, just a quick question. If maybe I was to bring back a corpse for you to occupy, any preference? Elf, gnome, human?
She kind of just looks at you and doesn't quite know how to respond. She's kind of like,
I think you could just teleport us out of here. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, don't worry. He understands the agony of choosing just one corpse.
It's the burden I bear. I'll just bring a selection next time. Okay.
Oh, all right. Very, very good. So, it was a nice meeting everybody. And then you guys are all engulfed in mist once again. And then when the mist dissipates, you're on the other side. You can see bright sunlight for the first time in a while. Your eyes have to adjust a little bit to it. It's about noon, and you're not too far away from the town that you stayed in prior to entering the mists. And with you are an assortment of individuals. Elmorn's still not with you. Probably back at town or something.
Martha, in joyous celebration, starts rolling around on the ground. It's like grass, sunlight. No, I won't kill them. I know I won't eat them, but grass.
Ivar is sort of staring at the mist and then finally says, "What are the odds that Elmorn was teleported here?" And then immediately said, "My daughter," and ran back into the mist.
At least 75%. As Martha was rolling around on the ground, I'm going to use I'm going to cast Mold Earth, the cantrip, and just kind of make it mold up around him so that he's like wrapped in it.
Just like a comfy little
Yeah.
earth bed.
Yeah.
Nice.
There you go.
So
So
Martha,
what's the next move?
how do you feel in your little earth bed?
Ready for it. Ready for a long rest.
Hey, I'll give him a massage, and then I cast what's that bloody cantrip called? I don't even know what it's called, but the one which makes the earth like shake.
Thaumaturgy?
Thaumaturgy?
Yeah, thaumaturgy. Thank you. Yeah.
So now you're in a vibrating earth bed. Magic fingers. Earth bed.
You guys really got to try this.
I'll think about it.
Martha was going to try to crawl out, and he dusts himself off, and he's like, I just had to let that out. No, I won't eat them, but... but I feel much better now.
Ivar walks up next to Tacitus and says, I think there may be something wrong with him. And then puts the stone back down into his pouch.
So what do we do now? Do we go into town, or is this the pickup site? Is Brevin supposed to pick us up in his broken-ass cart?
Brevin left us a long time ago to continue doing whatever. Did he have a job? Why was he with us? I think he had a job or something. He got like a job offer and stopped traveling with us.
Yeah, he likes us less now.
He had to stay behind to investigate the train incident.
I mean, I know he said he was doing that. He also said he was like in charge of like a whole organization up there in Karn.
You know, Brevin's a great leader. And all great leaders, I'm sure he delegated it. So I'm sure he's probably not doing a whole lot right now.
He seemed to suggest that he was only traveling with us to the tower as like some sort of favor that he owed us.
Like we had saved his family.
Right. And then when we got there, he was like, all right, I'm done. And then he left.
So I guess we're walking.
So you should have brought the Elatrix.
That's why I didn't bring it.
I wanted to drive it.
That's
Come
why,
on.
again, why I didn't bring it.
I'm gonna get my learner permit soon. I gotta practice.
Ivar will yell into the mist, Elmon, we're going into town.
We'll see you at the tavern. I won't eat you.
You think you hear a whisper on the wind, get me a chocolate milk.
You heard the man.
And then I'll turn to the other people. Do they look like survivors of the prison camp or random people around us?
No, survivors.
Okay.
How do they look? Are they in good shape or maybe on the verge of death?
They're pretty ragged, malnourished, naked. All of them naked.
I mean, I have extra clothes, but they're all gnome-sized. I don't want to insult these people.
That guy's got a little one.
You should come with us, and we can take care of you in town and see to getting you back to your homes.
You hear a couple of them like mutter, "Are we really free?"
You are really free, but you're very far from your homes.
Yeah, and probably some of you won't make it. But that's okay. Don't worry about it.
Well, luckily, there's a lightning rail that can get you home pretty quickly. Like in a matter of a week or so, 2 weeks.
Unless it gets ambushed and then attacked.
Which I'm sure won't happen.
Why would you say such a thing? We already survived one.
Move along, people. Move along.
You see a couple of them like cross their hands over their body and kind of shiver a little bit, because it is kind of fall going into winter.
So I guess could we head back for that same inn we were at before? I assume this is Vatharon. We're on the outskirts of.
Yeah. Yeah, you can go back to that same inn.
I mean, I guess I'm sort of assuming it's day. Is it like still light out?
Yeah, it's like noon.
Okay. So try to find a shop with some clothes for these people. Nothing necessarily super fancy.
You probably would notice every once in a while Tacitus kind of like jerk and look behind him like he's expecting something to sneak up behind him.
Yeah, there is an egg somewhere. I'm not sure where.
Is Egg with us?
Egg is with So yeah, you go to a shop and you can find, some cheap clothes.
Just tell people if they stare. Effects of the Mornlands. Nothing to see here. Effects of the Mornlands. Leave these people alone. I'm sure that's enough for the people of Vatheron to be like, oh, that
Yeah,
makes sense.
I'm sure they're used to it by now.
Yeah, they're like, oh yeah. This is just another day on the ranch. So you find the merchant selling the clothes, seeing the reason, he's willing to give you a deal, just 1 gold piece, and you can clothe everybody.
I'll pay a gold piece.
Yeah.
So,
All right.
And then
is
go
there
to bed.
anything specific you guys want to do in town?
Sleep.
Sleep. No, we won't
So-
ravish the villagers one by one.
So you guys find an inn. You're able to get some rest. Based on what the survivors have said, the innkeeper is willing to give you a deal on your lodgings. So you only really need 5 gold pieces for the all of you, and that also covers like continental breakfast and stuff.
Honeydew.
Man, I was hoping cantaloupe.
Yeah. Honeydew is basically an insult.
We only believe in the finest melons here. Even the moored ones have standards.
But I do want to ask them, were they marched south? Were they put into carts? Like, how did they, after they were taken off the train, how did they get into the Mornlands and then down this far south?
So a lot of them, they say that after being taken, many of them were transported by the airship, and then from there they were taken to some kind of hidden depot on the edge of the Moorland, and then they were marched most of the way forcefully. At certain points, there were also what appeared to be some kind of carts driven by magical means. They couldn't really say how. It seemed like they were normal carriages, but they were not drawn by horses.
Can any of you people write? I mean, no offense. I'm sure you might all be well educated, but I don't know.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
We can write.
So I'm going to produce paper and quills, and I have ink. Just write down as many details as you remember firsthand for each of them. We might as well, I'll just turn to everybody else. We might as well send this stuff up to Brevik. He's going to want to talk to these people anyway, but getting a statement earlier rather than later is probably going to serve him well.
So not only do they give their accounts, but it also seems like therapeutic in a way for them, as they detail the difficulty that they endured, the friends that they had made and lost along the way.
If they write anything about Tacitus exploding a bunch of people,
yeah, one of them did include that, like seeing their friend completely atomized by some kind of explosion in a cave, not really knowing where that came from or how that happened.
like if That's fine. Ivar wouldn't really notice that. But if they had like named Tacitus, maybe he'd like spill a little ink on that part.
Quick question: did the little girl make it?
No.
All right.
Talk about the one with the butterfly. Or that was a different one.
I don't remember the one with the butterfly.
That the one with the butterfly was the encased in glass.
Okay.
I assume I actually thought it was a little boy, but I assumed he was talking about the one that Elmorn was trying to save.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I thought he was one of the people.
That was a little boy.
Oh, it was a little boy. Okay.
And that kid did make it. He
He's
was
out.
small.
He's out
he
here.
was small enough to fit through the hole, and he managed to follow you guys out.
But not the guy who knew something about the Creation Forge?
No. He
died.
got exploded.
What? How did he get it exploded? He was always in the back.
Stray surge of energy from like the Mornlands affecting your magic. Zigzagged around several people to get to him. And then it was just like scanners.
It wasn't even. It wasn't even. There was a strange surge of magical energy, and he just exploded.
You guys ever see Big Trouble in Little China?
Yeah.
It's been a while.
He exploded like that dude at the end.
The guy who inflates.
Yes, I would probably attempt to take special care of the kid.
Okay. He is largely silent. He seems like he's pretty traumatized and very skittish.
Sure, that's fine.
But he does accept your help.
I'm not charming enough to get the boy to talk, so I'll just let him be.
Ooh, where's my cat?
Purring right next to you.
Oh, great.
So when they're finished writing out their statements, as long or short as they want, I will try to find somebody from House Civis. They must have some kind of like messaging service here, given all the people.
Yeah, but the House Civis outpost here is quite small and limited in the services that they can provide.
I just need somebody to relay these letters to Brevin up at Karnath.
Brevin, do you have more information on where he can be found? Karnath is a large country.
Yeah, I don't remember what organization he was a part of.
House Dania.
So yeah, Brevin of House Deneth.
Yeah, very self-important, full of himself.
Last we saw him, he was at the Tower of the 12.
His wagons break down.
Well, we can certainly send this to the Tower of the 12, or we can send it to the House Danieth outpost in Reckenmark in Karnath. Where do you think he'd be most likely to receive this message?
Most likely Tower of the 12.
Was he associated with Tower of the 12?
Well, that's where we left him.
Right, I thought that's where he was taking us because that's where you guys wanted to go.
He could get us in there.
Right. He had connections there, but I would think Reckenmark would be the better place. At least somebody there would know where he was to get it to him.
I suppose.
So yeah, so send it to the House Deneth and Reckenmark. with a message from me that I'll add saying, these are accounts of 6 other survivors that we rescued in the Mournlands from the Warforged attack on the train. Where were we when that happened? I forget the name of the city.
Vedekar.
Yeah,
Or Volyer. I believe it was Volyer.
Yeah, it had to be on the way to Volyer, I guess. Because Vedekar, there's no train between Volyer and Vedekar, so we were on foot at that point. So I think it was while we were going to Volyer.
Yeah.
That makes sense because it was on the Talenta plains.
So yeah, they send copies. They have specially designed scribing pens, and so by tracing over the lettering, it is linked to another pen that will create perfect copies. It just takes a couple hours, since the gnome has to write by hand all of the messages. Did you
How much does that cost me?
For you, it'll only be 10 gold pieces.
All right.
So is this the House Civis gnome message place?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not going inside the door. We had issues.
Do any of us remember the issues with House Civis and Kolmar?
I think I was trying to sneak in to see what Brevin or somebody was doing and trying to get past them, and yeah, it didn't go very well.
Oh,
Nope.
Sounds about right.
Oh.
That was back when Brevin was accompanied by his shifter lady.
Mm-hmm.
That she had taken
The beautiful. She's so beautiful. And she hated me.
As all people do at one time, Petrie.
Yeah. And I'll banish them with the egg if they hate me.
So the rescued people where are they at now? Did we get them sent along someplace, or?
I assumed we were putting them up at the inn for at least a day, and then we'll worry about getting them some way to get back up to Karnath.
Yeah, they're shit hammered right now.
Yeah.
Well, they're scowling because honeydew.
Yeah, even having been starved for months, they really are disappointed with the honeydew. So yeah, you guys you're able to get all of that taken care of with House Civis. You're able to make sure that these people that you saved have accommodations. You largely don't need to pay for them. The citizens of this town have heard and understand what they've been through and are willing to provide them with a measure of charity. And they've actually also taken to raising funds to help them get back to Karnath via the lightning rail.
What's the fastest way to get from here back to Karnath on the lightning rail?
Let's look at the map. So
there's not a super fast way. There's the lightning rail that goes north, and then a boat.
Yeah.
Does
that would. Huh?
Does it go anywhere near a tour?
You would have to go to Flame Keep, and then take a boat.
Okay.
Yeah.
Avoid any.
And Flame Keep is in Thrain, so they don't even make it to Karnath.
Yeah, but that boat ride would take them pretty close to Korth. And then from there, they can take another lightning rail that would go through Atur, Vedekar, and then from Vedekar take Caravan, and then they can go upon their way, because I'm sure some of them were heading to Valier, others are from other places and were possibly visiting or had some business to attend to.
I guess they don't want to go to Carlacton, I think is the name. Because then there's this hugely long boat ride where they're constantly hearing, and on the starboard side, there's the Mournlands.
Yeah. Actually, Carlacton is where, not Reckenmark, Carlacton is where the head of the House Deneath is. So, this house of this guy would have known that, though, and would have sent it there. Reckenmark is the academy.
Does Martha generally understand where things are located in the world and where he's at and how that kind of fits in?
I mean, you would have a pretty good knowledge based on your experiences with House Orion. But do you have proficiency in history?
We could pretend like I do. Because I don't have, Dice Cloud's still down for me, so.
Do you know what your intelligence was? I know what your intelligence was. Hold on. I know if you have proficiency as well. Let me see.
So the lightning rail does not come to the city, right?
It does come to where we are now.
It does? So they have a little lightning rail office that has brochures? Because I lost all mine on this last trip, so I'm going to go collect them again since I don't know any of these places.
Visit the Moorlands.
So you do have proficiency with history, and your intelligence is a +1. Level 10, your proficiency bonus is it +3 or is it +4?
+4.
All right. So you have a +5 total, and you can have advantage on your check.
Yeah. 18.
Okay. So yeah, you're pretty familiar with the layout of the geography. So what is it specifically that you would be wondering about?
Well, before we were talking about returning to the Hanson Mansion before Drome, but I think we're probably closer to Drome than we are the Hanson Mansion. It may make more sense just to go straight to Drome from here.
Yeah, but we don't know where we were in Drome.
Why?
And I don't think we are at all closer to Drome.
No, you have quite a ways. It would be easier. Sorry, go ahead.
No, oh, sorry. What's in Drome?
Yeah.
Mundane the Fleshlighter.
Morndane the Flesh Weaver?
Yep.
That's what some people call him.
Monday.
That would be my vote. Let's just kill him and get him out of the way.
I don't think actually we were going to kill him. We were going to talk to him.
Yeah, he's a good guy now. He's misunderstood.
No, he's clearly not a good guy. He's clearly evil and going to kill us. But we were going to talk to him.
Yeah, we're going to talk to him.
A guy with that sort of name, I think the best we can hope for is we go there, there's a fight, maybe we win, and then we scour his notes for the information that you guys need.
To be fair, I think the best we can hope for is we go there, he monologues giving us all the information we want before killing us, and then we happen to win.
He's not going to kill us.
Yeah, because we're going to kill him first.
What?
Do you have something against Mordain?
He's
Kolmar.
done nothing wrong.
I don't have something. I have everything against him.
Do you have a history?
It started at Fort Deep Dark. You don't remember?
Of course, I remember. I just forgot.
Yeah. he did give us an intrusive dream, but that was his way of talking to us.
Upon hearing all this, with like it feels like months of trying to find Mordain, Ivar goes. Do you mean to say we were looking for Mordain the Fleshlighter all this time, and you'd run into him before, and he's evil and was probably going to just kill us when he saw us, and you forgot?
He didn't want to kill us. He just wants to talk to us.
So I will say that Petrie and Marthau, you aren't quite sure what Kolmar is getting at when he's talking about Mordain in relation to Fort Deep Dark.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I sort of just remember the dream and us getting chased around by a weird slug thing.
And there was Belchik and the angel-faced creature, but there was no mention or no.
Mordain knew about the.
Mordain
Yeah, he was like the expert on the angel-faced creatures.
on the Zoria.
Yeah, and the Tower of the 12 took all his books away because he ended up fucking with people, I think.
What role did Mordain have at Flesh Deep Dark or Fort Deep Dark?
Flesh Deep Dark is pretty appropriate. Flesh Deep Dark.
That sounds like Ivar's cat. He orchestrated it.
How do you know this?
I've seen it. I've been told.
By whom?
The people I met in a tour.
Do they know Mordain?
They know of him, yes.
No, you can't eat people in a tour. They're all dead already. Interesting.
Marthau, is the issue with your memory connected to your cannibalism?
Oh, I'm not into cannibalism. Gary is into cannibalism. And then I like kind of gesture to the eye. This you may have just noticed it, but there is a scarf kind of wrapped around Marthau's neck.
Yeah, it's rather.
And it's got like an eye, and it's kind of like perked up, and it's looking at you. It's like Gary is into cannibalism. I keep telling him no.
Do you still have that picture of the scarf? Which is clearly not a scarf, it's just a long tentacle.
I do.
Does Gary prefer the corpses with blood or without blood?
He's more of a blood eye than a without blood eye.
Okay. I wasn't really interested in sharing, but I guess I will. Okay.
See if I could find a good picture of it. It's in one of these email threads. Got so many email threads.
Let's see if I can find them. Oh, here.
Oh, that's me.
But anyways,
There he is.
that's Gary.
Okay.
That's the scarf.
Yes. He at least keeps my neck warm.
Yeah. It looks a little more like a neck pillow than a scarf, though.
A scarf can serve many purposes.
Or even like one of those things you stick at the bottom of a door to keep out the drafts.
Are you able to tell Gary here to not move around if we're in town?
Yeah, Yeah, he says he'll lay low.
I sure hope so.
So as like we go into town and like more, whenever people walk by, like the eyelids close, and it just looks like Marthel's very stylish, which is usually the case. But he looks extra stylish.
So we're really worried about whether they see eyes on this scarf, considering this crew.
We mostly look normal now. That's the thing. Is we're not quite as screwed up as we were in the Moorlands.
Well, I don't know about you guys, but I need a drink. I start heading towards the bar.
The fresh makeup.
So
You just see Ivar's muttering to himself, staring at the stone again, with the letters out in the other hand.
So we slept, right?
Yep.
All right. So I guess I don't as a player I don't understand how we're closer to Handsome Mansion than we are to Drone.
Because in order to get to Drome from where you are, because you are at Vatheron, you would need to take the lightning rail pretty much to Rote, Zalargo. Or no, Breland. That's Breland. Rote and Breland. And then cross the Dagger River to Gallithspire, hitch onto an Orion caravan through Ardev, eventually into Greywall, then talk once more with Zorchiklik and have him hopefully teleport you back to Mordane's place, since it's supposed to be hidden and secret, even though it is on this map very clearly outlined.
Also, just looking at the map myself, it looks like it's twice as far from here to Drome as it is from here to Irontown, which is roughly where Ironside is.
Yeah.
I suppose we have to skirt the Mournlands.
Right, which is how we got here. I mean, we don't have to go back to the Handsome Mansion. We can go directly to Drome from here using the stone, get that done, and then teleport back to the Handsome Mansion. Or teleport to the spot in Drome, camp out at the Wonder Palace that was built in the desert for like a day or however long it takes, then teleport back to the Handsome Mansion, and then we can teleport back to the Wonder Palace again.
So the way that the amulet works is right now there's kind of a portal anchor from the Handsome Mansion to the spot in the desert of Drome, outside of his Mordane's realm. if you use the amulet again, it basically nullifies that link and would just send you back to the Handsome Mansion and have a link from where you are at Vatharond to the Handsome Mansion.
I see.
So it's like you get you can always teleport back to the Handsome Mansion, but then it's kind of like a save point. If you do a new save point, the other one is erased.
So I mean, but basically, we can take the lightning rail like 95% of the way back to the Handsome Mansion, or physically hoof it across Drome.
The land of monsters, everybody.
Well, when you put it that way, I suppose we could head back to the Handsome Mansion.
Yeah, wouldn't you like to check out your lab, Kolmar? And hopefully I didn't leave it too messed up. Oh yeah, also that mask it took a sip of my blood from my finger. Does that mean anything?
No, you're fine.
Okay. What happens if you put it on?
We're not going to do that.
Come on.
No.
We've got a bunch of naked people here. We can just put it on one of them. Well,
They're
clothed
not
now.
naked anymore.
Well, clothed now.
Still not happening.
I wouldn't advise that.
Oh. Well, there's still lots of cats at the mansion, so we'll go put it on one of them.
Oh yes, I forgot about that.
No.
The cats have probably dispersed by now.
For Charles' sake, I hope so.
Although when you mention that, you can see if you look closely, Ivor just starts to sweat a little bit and shake. We should go back to the hotel.
Which hotel?
Well, the inn we're staying at. But yeah, you guys have fun. I'm gonna go take a nap. So I go back to the hotel.
Do we notice a bunch of cats beginning to kind of
I don't know where you guys are. If you're close enough to notice the horde of cats that begin to gather, then maybe you do.
The moment I see more than 3 cats, I would go knock on his door.
You would hear meowing inside. Like his window will be open to let the cats in.
Hey.
So I'll open the door. My eyes are like super bloodshot, and I'm like completely naked, and the door is about this wide open. What?
Can't you wait till we get back to the mansion, the manor, whatever the hell you want to call it?
Yeah, I can wait. And then I close the door. And more cats.
Does my displacer cat seem pretty intrigued on what's going on in there? Does it like run off?
Oh yeah, it totally does. It's
It
enough
does?
cat that it yeah.
He'll come back and report. Tell you what the hell he's doing in there.
So does Petrie still have the silver flame symbol on, like a shield or armor or anything?
Yeah, I got a cool tattoo, and I show him my prison tattoo.
Looks like it was scorched in with lightning bolts, basically, like on his back.
Yep.
Well, I'm sorry I asked.
Sometimes he gets a little more than what you wish for.
Yeah, I'm a cool guy now.
All right. So, is there anything else that you guys want to do in town?
I mean, not Ivar, but somebody should look for Elmorn.
So you guys did find Elmorn, and you gave him the gem, and since then he's just been kind of quiet, and he went off by himself.
I think that after the first night I wouldn't be able to do it. So I don't know how long we're gonna be there. So like the following night, wherever we are, assuming I don't use all of my 5th level spell slots, I would cast Legend Lore and name Mordain the Fleshweaver. See if I get anything.
Okay. I'll send you an email with what you get for that one.
Okay.
Anybody else want to do anything in town?
Nothing that we can do on the train. And then the cart, and then then the train again, and then at the mansion.
All right. So, do you guys know how you want? Are you guys going to go back to the mansion? Are you going to hoof it through Drome? Don't hoof it through Drome.
I'm gonna hoof it through the mansion. Get out of here.
I'll definitely encourage everybody to use the train.
All right. So, as you guys head back to the Hanson Mansion, it's a pretty uneventful ride. No Warforged attacks or anything like that. You meet a couple of interesting people, but interesting in ways that don't really matter for anything other than maybe some fun stories. And then you, within probably a week or so, you're able to get to the Hanson Mansion.
I wonder if Father Stenson's dead. I should go check.
While he does that, Martha gets off. Charles.
How long were we in the Mournlands?
As far as you know, you guys were in the Mournlands about 3 days.
Because all the stink I left up on the roof was going to take a couple weeks to like air out all the odor from me capturing the air elemental.
Yeah. So definitely more time passed outside the Mournland than inside the Mournland.
Oh, we didn't hear anything about an egg on our travels, did we?
There's some weird things going on in Ater, but it hasn't really been made clear to the public what.
Nothing to be concerned about. Nothing to see here.
Well, didn't we have to go through a tour?
Yeah, it was on the lightning rail.
Yeah, so the lightning rail to Atur was actually rerouted in that they were offering Orion caravan services around Atur.
I mean, wouldn't the lightning rail be faster?
It would be, except they're not allowing anybody through Atur at this time.
Now, does that come across as odd to us?
Nope. Just another day in Ebron.
I mean, it's being framed as the lightning rail in that area needing general maintenance and upkeep.
That reminds me. Since I got a few days and also a couple of different 5th level spell slots, I would probably also legend lore this giant egg that I saw because I could describe the object to get something maybe. So
Okay. So let me make a note of that.
give you some work to do.
Email Tony about Morgan, the hemp dealer, and egg thing.
Also, I probably would have cast what's that damn spell called? It's like a 4th level spell, and I can speak to my deity.
Commune?
Yeah, commune. Yeah. I would have tried to speak to him and ask her where the egg went. Just so
You
I
got
get
my
some
email about
clarification.
your items, right?
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
Okay. So I'll send you an email. That is going to be a very confusing time for you.
Oh, okay. Okay, I get it now. Yep. All right. Whew.
Email Brendan about confusion with the spell.
A tour in Godzilla.
So yeah, when you guys see this detour, how do you react? Are you just going to go along with it, or?
Martha thinks it's very odd, and he's actually interested, and his interest is piqued.
If Kolmar said it was okay, it's okay.
Kolmar, what do you know about this? You were in a tour fairly recently.
Some things happen.
What? Should we check it out?
No.
Is it trouble?
No, we should not check it out.
Do you care to give a little more detail?
The group that I was working with, pretty much the whole Crimson Monastery turned against us and came after us, and I may or may not have killed about half of them.
Yep.
And then that's when I saw the egg and I vanished.
Who is the Crimson Monastery?
Followers of the Blood of All.
I hate those guys. Good thing you killed them.
Those were the ones who were perverting the Blood of All, not the real true believers.
Ah.
Martha,
Wow.
you have connections in House Orion, don't you? Can't you find out why the lightning rail has been shut down? Explain to them how important you are and tell them to reopen those lines immediately.
Well, I have connections to House Orion, which is not in charge of the lightning rail. They're in charge of the caravans. Unfortunately. Although the House Orion may be able to tell us what's going on. So, like at the junction where the lightning rail is no longer an operate, where the people are getting off and then the caravans are picking us up. I seek out kind of the captain of the caravan or the things to see if I can if I recognize him or if he bears a mark of the House Orion.
He's more than likely going to bear the mark of House Orion. In terms of you knowing him, No. Don't recognize him.
Okay. Sir, good day. You may remember me, Martha the Handsome. If not, that's all right. I've traveled many, many years with the House Orion. Pray tell me what's going on with a tour in the lightning rail. This is quite unusual.
Not that unusual. The lightning rail line requires service every now and then, especially following the days of the war. Lots of damage had been done to the various areas of the rail, and so on occasion it needs to be repaired because of the damage that was sustained. Doesn't always immediately make itself known.
How does one discover damage?
Well, usually there are crews that go and inspect the monolith stones on a regular basis, from my understanding. And this time they happen to see a number of the stones in pretty bad shape.
What did they look? Did it look like a blast, or has there been any cause identified for the reason that the stones are in bad shape?
You know, they didn't really say very much. I'm not really aware of what's going on there.
Is okay. Well, do you guys have any questions for this gent? Because I mean, I guess if it's out, it's out.
Yeah, it's really the conductor stones, unfortunately. The conductor stones are managed by House Caniff, and so when they do require repairs, they are usually the ones involved with it.
I mean, I would go along with it. Just take the caravan. I am sure Ivar secretly believes that the egg has destroyed Ator, but he doesn't want to suggest, therefore we should go to Ator. Like, that's not the logical conclusion.
You're thinking that in your head, and here comes Tacitus steps up and is like, no trouble then. You don't need any assistance. We are seasoned travelers.
No assistance that I can think of, unless you are skilled artificers or mage rights of some sort.
I can cast a few spells, but probably not of that nature.
Also, I will note that this whole Mornland expedition was in itself a side quest. So if you want to go on another side quest, you guys are welcome to go to Ator.
I shall defer to the party.
Kolmar says it's all right.
Yes, well, I said uneasy, but I see I'm overruled.
So Martha, I can certainly send you an email, because if you're concerned about the status of Inter, you can certainly use your contacts to try and get some more information.
I think Marthal would do that.
Okay.
Not because he's worried about it, but just because he's interested.
Mm-hmm. Email Dustin about Peter and remember to congratulate him on his wedding this weekend.
Yes, don't forget that part.
Martha's getting married?
I am on Saturday.
Charles, the lucky man.
All right, so we'll pick up next time. Well, is the party in agreement? Go to the Handsome Mansion, or do people want to investigate it? Or
I'm happy to go to the mansion.
I'm okay with passing it by for now.
Yeah, it depends on the information I get. But yeah, I'm planning. Yeah, going back to the mansions.
Okay.
Still be first point.
So what we'll do is next time we'll pick up at the Handsome Mansion and getting ready to go back to Drome. If there's anything specific that you want to be working on with your characters while you're at the Handsome Mansion, or any kind of investigating that you want to do in addition to whatever's been said already, just send me an email. And that way we can try and get that stuff out of the way via email and then just get right into it next week.
Okay.
Beautiful.
Awesome. That sounds good.
All right. Welcome back, Peter. It's good to have Kolmar back in action.
Yes.
Hell yeah.
So when are you starting your game, Peter?
Thursday.
Same time, 9:30
Yeah.
Eastern.
Probably like 9. I don't know. Probably like 9.
Moving it back.
That works for me.
Okay.
Can't wait to have more energy to interact with Kolmar some more.
Yeah.
I was dying going in, unfortunately.
You sick?
No, I'm just fucking tired.
Oh.
My kid stayed up a decent amount last night, so it kept me up. Yeah.
I was gonna say something. I forgot what I was gonna say. So congratulations, you guys. You were the first group I've ever had survive the Mornland. Bravo. Because I've had at least 3 games before you guys have groups that encountered the Mornland. And they either fizzled out in the middle, or just went into complete shit show. So congratulations, you guys.
What do you think that was?
Hey, we all nearly died a lot of times. You did your work. You did your job.
Well, it was fun to go through the Mornlands. It wasn't like that. There were like the occasional combats, but it really didn't come down to combat. Like that could have. There were like it was more like there's a Warforged, so we'll like obliterate all the low level Warforged, and then we meet one tough Warforged, and we're like, well, we can't take him. Like the tough fights at least came down to things like the Warforged Titan that tripped, so he got shrunk and then stuck to the ground, and then had one of those blobs thrown on him to eat away at him.
Yeah, I tried to have you guys fight more of the environment and the actual Mornland than anything that you encountered within it.
Yeah, I thought that was effective.
Yeah.
Well,
Like lava plumes just blasted us in the butt, like giant crab things.
I would say actually, Ivar really came out of that better probably than anyone. Like Ivar went down to, I think it was like 64 before he leveled hit points, but that's still 64 hit points. Other people got beaten up a lot worse than Ivar did.
Yeah.
That's typically true, just in
Tacitus,
general.
Tacitus walking up front.
The first day was rough for me. I learned quickly from that, and yeah.
And then Elmorn thrown through the tree, although at least he had the damage reduction.
It was whiplash damage.
Can't really Whiplash, man.
All right, so I will see some of you Thursday.
Yeah.
Congratulations on getting married.
Thank you.
Yeah, cool.
Sucker.
Joining some of you.
Yeah, Tony will warn you about that next week.
You think it's all fun and games?
Is everybody good for next week?
I should be.
Should be.
Yeah.
I'm good.
Excellent. Alrighty, guys.
Talk to
Have
you
a good
later.
night.
Have a good one.
Yeah, you too.
Bye.
Welcome back, man. It's good to have you.
Yeah, good game.
Thanks.